because
Car.
you don't need to manually.
Is there anything on you? We didn't know that. Hey guys, welcome back to Road Warrior podcast or Road Warrior Project podcast. Today I got my buddy Tony, or Funnitoni on Instagram. It's Funnitoni, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for some reason I always see it as Funnitoni for some reason on there. And he's done Fugitive recovery work. He does comedy work and he does security work. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and elaborate more on that, man?
All right. Well, like you said, it's Tony or Antonio, or some people know me Funnitoni. I've done security for approximately 13 years, going on 14 years. With security, I got my start doing that with a good friend of mine back when I was about 19. I've been working in the Reading, PA area, the Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Lebanon, Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania,
Oh wow, nice.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I've been all over Pennsylvania. I did some. Actually, just recently, due to the current pandemic, had to end my job in New York, working for a well-known artist, which I'm not going to put that out there for security reasons.
Yeah, fair enough.
I actually worked in New York for him. I drove around, just security for him off and on.
Nice.
And I met a lot of artists. Artists doing that. I actually had an opportunity to meet Pop Smoke, A Boogie, Roddy Rich, E Grizzly. There's a lot. I met a lot of artists.
Fuck yeah, nice dude.
And that was just working that security gig from the Thanksgiving of 2019 till February. I started doing work. So I met all those people in that over time. Throughout the years of me doing security, worked in an array of places. I worked in a lot of Latino bars, Mexican, Dominican, Puerto Rican. Met a lot of well-known Latino artists working at a place called Jet Set in Reading, Pennsylvania, which serves really good food. really good food.
I hope so.
Yeah, it was definitely the highlight of the job, the free food I could get.
Fuck yeah, dude, I'm all about free food.
Yeah, so the future recovery aspect of my experience, I actually started doing that in 2008.
Okay, nice.
I got my first start. Yeah. Now I don't know how much truthfulness this is to the guy that I worked with. We were doing security together. At that point in time, the security outfit we were working for was called Whack Hut, which is now like G4S, which I don't know what that means now. But I was doing security. He was my supervisor. He told me about recovery.
Yeah.
And now that was around the time Dog the Bounty Hunter was big on TV.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, hold on, for real? I'm like, that's what you do? He's like, yeah, that's what I do. I'm like, how do I get into this?
Yeah.
So he tells me, hey, well, if you're curious, I'll take you out with me and see how you fit in and all this stuff. And I was like, all right.
Now, what are the qualifications to be a recovery agent in Pennsylvania?
Oh, in Pennsylvania, you don't need no license.
No?
No, there's no licensing needed. In Pennsylvania, you can, for me, I worked underneath my brother, because I was a constable.
Okay.
For the state. And usually he was the one that made the contacts with the bail bonds we were working with. So usually I was, he introduced me, and then I was working underneath him, but then I also made relationships with these people as well.
Okay.
So, they would call me on the rods and things, and, I would help them out as much as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Pennsylvania, there is no licensing needed to be to recover a bail bonds enforcement agent. But I did find out about it was like 3 months to it, that you can actually go to a senior certification or a future recovery certification through school out here.
Okay.
And I was something I was looking into just so I would, just so I wouldn't have to work, underneath anybody.
Yeah.
So I could be my, I could be my own person, contracts, and
That's the best way to do it,
just,
honestly.
So that's something I still in the near future I plan on doing. Is just financially little things got messed up. I'm stuck at home for over a month now. Kid's wife, everybody driving me crazy. And the dog can't stay there no more. But yeah. So what was I saying? What I was saying about the gentleman that I got my start with doing Fugitive recovery in the Harrisburg area. He, which intrigued me even more about the job was when he told me. Now, like I said, I don't know if this is true, but I wanted to believe this guy because he pretty much got me my start. He introduced me to bail bonds in 2 different counties, and pretty much was my the beginning of a career. He told me what I needed to know. He showed me some things, and as you go on in a career, you always expand. You learn from new people, or different new people. So
yeah.
I'll never take that from him. But he did tell me that he was from the Colorado area. I don't know if it was true, but then he said that he had worked for Funnitoni in his career. Now, I have no clue, but the guy, I was older than him, a couple years older than me. So there's a possibility, I have no clue if it's true or, some of the stories he were telling me, whether or not they were true, but it piqued my interest. I'm like, look, I'm all for it. And it got to the point where when we would go around Harrisburg and we'd be apprehending people, because he was shorter than me. He was a little short white guy. He was known as football, I was known as big because I was tall.
Yeah.
There's little and big, there's black and white. And that was the nicknames we had for the longest time.
Black and
white.
That's
when I started noticing in that field, you kind of almost in some fact take the interest to work where you live.
Yeah.
Because it's like you go out with your family and the first thing you do is they see you and they're looking like, hold on, wait. Or who's he after? Hold on, wait, is he looking for somebody? So, that was one thing that I did learn, try to, I know for me, it was to work out of the areas I lived in.
Yeah, that's usually best to do. I mean, it's hard to do sometimes, but I have not arrested anyone near where I live. I live like 45 minutes out of the middle of nowhere anyway, but if you do this job long enough, which I'm sure you know by now, you end up arresting people fucking everywhere.
Oh, yes, you do, because you actually got a story on that one. I was working with another bail agency aside from my brother. And the guy just called me and he said, "Hey, I need I'll pay you. I really need you. We know where the guy is. I don't really need you for apprehension. I just need you to say, get some footage, video record, for safety purposes." I was like, "Sure, no problem."
Yeah.
Suited up, went out. We go to this hotel. So,
those are always fun.
Huh?
I said hotels are always the best.
Oh yes. The only thing is that sucked with that one is he had his kids with him.
Shit, yeah.
The long story short, so it was him, the kids, the wife. So we actually get in the hotel room. After she goes, as good as it could have been. And we get him. He ended up going to the hospital to get checked out because he did try to resist. Ended up reaching for one of my partner's guns and stuff like that. So things got a little hairy. We took him to the hospital. We got him checked that everything was good. Took him to jail. So after it's all said and done, I go home. At that time I was living with my sister and her wife. So I get home and they're all up and on. Oh my God! My cousin, my baby daddy just got arrested. I think his big mom did him up, all this stuff. And I'm like, what's the name? She gives me the name, and I'm looking, and if I could have turned white, I probably was white. I looked at her, I'm like, he was staying at this hotel? She's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that was us that just apprehended him. She was like, oh my God, you know that? Like, well, I didn't know. I know that guy.
Yeah.
So when you start in areas where you live, you tend to run into people that, like, for example, him, I didn't know him personally.
Yeah.
But then it come to find out that it's my cousin's baby daddy. And then there's the times that I actually had to do apprehensions and and I'm the one that does a little bit of internet finds out there and posting on Instagram and vice versa and stuff like that. And then I'm going, hey, we're here, but they know me. I cannot go in there and we're not doing this, and then ends up I have to show up anyway, extra hand, and they're like, oh, no, come on, take your brother. They're like, I'm like, bro, I don't know what you're talking. I tap, just call me to come help. I don't know, like, bro, just do it. So it can. That does become a big conflict of interest doing the work where you live at, because you just don't know. Like, plenty of times I've gotten cases and I honestly, I'm like, I'm not going to work there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people I live at, they know that I do security. They know that my brother that he does bail enforcement, but they don't know that I do bail enforcement.
Yeah,
so that's kind of why it's easier for me to go into the clubs and stuff and be, and go to places and be the lookout and like, all right, well, he's here. He's with this person. And because they don't know that I do that.
Yeah.
So far, I've been keeping it. Basically, I'm like this big future recovery agent where I live at. And it's like, it's keep it, for the most part, I haven't ran into the situation where anybody to put two and two together. They just seen me with him and figured, oh, that's his little brother, so that's why he's with us. So.
I'm honestly very surprised I have not run into anyone I know. Like, people always know who we are when we show up, but they don't. There's no one I know, and they don't know people that I usually hang out with. That they don't know my family or anything. And we've been doing this for like 5 years now, and people know our company name, and they know my partner. They know him as like the bald guy. He's a lot nicer than I am. I'm usually the bad cop in the group, but yeah. So far, I've arrested no one that I know or knows my family.
Yeah, I'm usually the sprinter. They usually take me along because I'm the tall, lanky one that can, hop the fences and
yep, same here. I'm not tall and lanky, but I'm not. Well, we have one other guy that can run, but he never really goes out anymore. But I'm usually the only runner.
Okay.
I'm just a short, white, stocky guy.
Yeah, but for the most part, I enjoyed Fugitive recovery a lot, because unfortunately years ago I got myself in a little bit of trouble, so wasn't able to do my lifelong career, which I wanted to be Fugitive recovery. What is the Fugitive recovery with U.S. Marshals? That's where I wanted to do.
That'd be a cool job for sure.
Yeah, and so unfortunately when I was younger I got myself in a little bit of trouble, so it kind of took away the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And it was like the next best thing, and I'm a big advocate for the community, because I've been on both sides, unfortunately, and I was able to change my life and turn my life around, but I get to run into these people, meet these people, and talk to them, and like, look, like, they give excuses for why they're doing A, B, and C. I'm like, okay, that's an excuse, but what are you going to do to make it different? Well, because my baby mama didn't give me the money in time. I said, but did your baby mama do what you did to get you in trouble? Did your mom do what they did?
Right.
Oh, no. I'm like, all right, well, then it's up to you to change your path and turn things around and get where you can get it right.
That's exactly true.
That's why I enjoyed having that job, is because I said I met a lot of people. And I was able to, talk to them. Maybe something I said might have, changed their outlook. Because a lot of them I would be down like, look, hey, I don't enjoy this as much as you don't enjoy this, because I was at a point in time where I was in the same position. I'm going to jail, and it was like, so it's like I don't want to do this, but it's my job to do this. This is this is the job I signed up to do. You know what I mean? And you made me do my job by not showing up to quit. So, you know what I mean? We both got it. You did your job the way you want to do your job. Now I'm doing the job that I have to do.
Yeah, and honestly, I got in trouble too when I was younger. I think people like us who had experience on both sides of this make the best agents, because we know what to look for. We know what it's like to get in trouble and, kind of be scared about, okay, well, shit, I'm going to go to jail, or this is going to happen to me. So we know how to level with those people and level with them, basically, and know how to talk to them. Say, hey, man, this does suck, but you just got to do what you got to do, because if you keep on running, it's going to get worse. Just go to court, take care of it. You can get bonded out again, but don't fucking miss court again, because it is going to make it worse, and it's going to cost that much more to get out again. So, I mean, that's why it makes us the better agents.
Yeah, because I know we had a lot of situations where the people we had to take in there. It was like some of them really had legitimate reasons why they missed court. You know what I mean? Like it was
that happens. People do forget
and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, well, look, you go play and you go back from the judge. Well, we'll vouch that you weren't, you didn't abscond, you didn't run it. You know what I mean? You didn't give us a lot of time. We took you in, you did what you got to do, and you'll be back out. And then we'll rebail you back out. But,
I had that problem with this one girl. I had a problem with this one girl. We arrested her 2 times within like weeks of each other. She had cases in like a mountain town, like 2 hours away. Then she had cases here in Colorado Springs. She missed her court date because she was up at the other county court taking care of her shit. So she missed court for the county down here. And she was crying. She was a really sweet girl. She had drug problems. And then we arrested her again the second time, weeks later, for the exact same thing. And she's like, yeah, I'm just trying to balance out going to court in 2 different counties, and they're always at the same time. But she was willing to work with us, so we got her bonded out quickly. Again, pretty much the next day. And then I guess one of my partners ran into her like a month later, and she looks like 10 times healthier, off drugs. He almost didn't recognize her because the way we treated her wanted to make her get on the right track and, have a better life and stop doing drugs because we treated her the right way, basically. And she actually thanked us for arresting her. So treating people the right way goes a long way.
Yeah, I don't think I've had anybody thank me for arresting them. Not yet.
It is kind of weird to get that in this job, but
because if I'm not mistaken, you guys have. I know Colorado. I know I've seen it a lot with other. There is what is it? It's ICE. I think they call it. That's big out there.
Oh, like immigration. Immigration is ICE.
No. It's the drug. The drug of choice.
Oh yeah.
I think. Yeah, over here we call it. Over here is what do they call it? Crystal. They call it crystal over here.
Yeah, crystal, coke, or not coke. Yeah. Those 2 things, and then black heroin, just heroin in general, are both pretty big here.
Yeah. Yeah. Now what we have over here, we have we're big. I guess big with the opiates and K2, the synthetic marijuana.
Oh yeah.
That's what you see a lot of people like. That's what the big issue is here. Like I've seen people that literally. I knew them back when I was in high school, and I'm like, they're star basketball players, and I see them, and just and they walk up to me and try to, can I get $5? Can I get some change? I'm looking, I'm like, you know me? They're like, no. I'm like, what's the school with you? Like, you were supposed to be going to college, play basketball. What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you got $5? I'm like, no, I don't have $5.
Yeah, that synthetic marijuana is pretty nasty shit. I've never smoked it, but people have told me just some of like the nasty side effects it's had, and I don't get why people smoke it. I mean, I don't get why people do any of the drugs, but it's just whatever their mind, like state of mind they're in.
Well, I know a big thing that we've seen lately, because I know actually, I can't remember what the YouTube channel is off the top of my head. A buddy of mine, I did some work with, started a YouTube channel, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is. If he sees this, he's gonna kill me for that one. But anyways, and he, a friend of his was real heavy on the K2, and I kept, he, because he cared about the female so much, he was big on trying to, wanted to stick around, and make sure she was good because she came from a well-off family because of her addiction. They didn't want to deal with her.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, I kept seeing her. I'm like, you sure she doesn't do heroin? I'm like, she's nodding like she does heroin. He's like, no, just K2. And I'm like, I sat down and talked with her. And I said, I'm like, the K2 you're getting, what does it look like? And she told me, now they started lacing it with heroin. Yep. So she wasn't no longer addicted to the K2. She was addicted to the heroin, and she had never did heroin, but she was addicted to both.
Yeah.
So it was that was like that was an eye opener for me. It's like, wow, people out there that were that was their drug of choice. It's like, all right, now how many people out there actually now their drug of choice was the K2, but now they're all addicted to a whole other thing, don't even know it.
Yeah. Do you guys have access to Narcan or Narcan up there? I guess it's the like if you get hit with someone that has fentanyl, you can take Narcan and it pretty much makes you better. Like if you're about to OD on some fentanyl or some shit.
Oh yeah, we have access to it. I forgot because it was actually given to me by a police officer, a friend of mine. He gave it to me. I actually think he had it had some, and I was like, "Oh, let me get that," because I do, like I said, I do security as well.
Yeah.
And it's never as well. I'm gonna say so much stuff. You never know what's gonna happen when you're doing and any. So it's like I always would keep it with me, because I had this one backpack. I was my go-to backpack, everything in it. Anything you can think of for security, future recovery, or medical emergencies in that bag. And I had some with me because I know we had for a minute here we had a big stint of the fentanyl laced cocaine that was going around, and a lot of people were ODing on that. So
yeah, that's nasty shit.
Was,
I got a whole Narcan also. Thankfully, we've never had to run in with fentanyl, but there was this one fugitive. Again, we arrested him a couple times, and we were gonna arrest him a third time, and we kept hearing stories. I don't know if they're true or not, that he was throwing fentanyl in people's faces when they try to apprehend him, basically. And this dude would do something like that because the first time we arrested him, or the second time, he ran my ex-boss over with his truck. And then the second time we arrested him, he pretty much, it wasn't like a car chase. We were just following him. He knew we were following him. He was trying to get away. He was throwing shit out of his car window at us while we were driving behind him. So this dude was crazy enough to do shit like that, but we ended up not arresting him. But yeah, it's mainly the homeless people that have all kinds of fucking shit. Like, everyone that we arrest that's homeless has needles on them, has all kinds of drugs on them.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk shit about all homeless people, but the majority of the ones we deal with, there's some sketchy ass people.
Yeah, I can say honestly, because we haven't. I can't say I dealt with anybody that was homeless in a sense. We dealt with a lot of people that I guess they usually were not born in the U.S., which made it hard for us.
Yeah,
a lot of times we had to depend on the family and ex-girlfriends and current girlfriends and baby mamas and all this stuff. That it's kind of had to be like a scare attack to get them to even admit that they even knew what a person was.
Yep.
And those were the worst, because I can actually say there was one. It was like two cases we had where they both had the opportunity of actually having fled back to the Dominican Republic.
Oh, wow.
And before we had a chance to apprehend them, they were already on the sheriff's most wanted list in our area.
Nice.
So it was like, all right, well, one way or another, we're going to go. I'd have preferred, we got a little bit extra money, but at least we know that, we're not looking for them. Yeah.
No, like, when it comes to illegals, immigrants, or even, like, I don't want to make it sound racist, but, like, Hispanics are the most pain in the ass to find. Because the majority of the ones we get here in Colorado, they're all illegal, or they're here on a green card or something, or, like, a working permit, however that works. We've had one go back to, what the fuck is it called? It's somewhere. I can't remember the country's name right now. But he went back there, and our bondsman wanted him so bad, he almost flew us there to at least find out where he was. And then he was even calling the embassies. He was trying to get people to work with us to bring this guy back to the States, basically. So, yeah, I don't know what it is with the Hispanics, but they don't roll in each other, basically.
We have a big Hispanic population where I live at. Very, very big. It's majority Puerto Ricans. Now it's starting to, the demographics for the Dominicans is starting to change. Like, we're starting to see more Dominicans. Mexicans, not too many.
Yeah.
But if you go to a town that's like 45 minutes over, it's Little Mexico.
In Pennsylvania, really.
But yeah. But there's a lot. I know out here alone, like, for example, the Harrisburg area, which is our state capital, we've seen, I know when I used to live out there in 07, 08, there wasn't many Hispanics out there.
Okay.
I go out there in 2012. They're everywhere. It's like Puerto Ricans were. I'm black and Puerto Rican.
Okay.
So it's Puerto Ricans everywhere, and it was like, I'm like, wow. I'm like, it's really changing. And then I know when I first moved to Reading, Pennsylvania, when I was younger, because I'm originally from Virginia. When I moved here, it was the minorities were the Caucasians, and the majority was Caucasians. Then it went the minorities were the Hispanic, and the African Americans were played the middle line.
Yeah.
Now that completely switched. We're like the Africans are minorities, the Caucasians are minorities, and the majority is Hispanic.
Okay.
So it changed a lot, and I'm 32 now. And when I moved here, I was 4. Moved to Pennsylvania, I think. Yeah.
Okay,
so
nice.
It changed a lot.
Yeah, I've never been to Pennsylvania.
The school I went to. Yeah, the school I went to was a suburb school. It was majority Caucasians. There was literally when I was in that school, there was 8 minorities in the whole school district.
Damn.
Now it's like you can't even count them.
Nice.
So demographics do change a lot, and it's and we actually have our first Hispanic mayor ever.
Oh, right
in
on.
history. So we'll see. I don't think your background, that's whether or not you're going to be good in politics, but we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. I don't give a fuck what you look like as long as you know what you're doing. You're a good person, I guess. You got the people's interest in mind, which most politicians don't. But
yeah, well, so far he's been good, but we'll see how long that lasts. Shoot, our last mayor was actually one of the district judges that was out here for years.
Oh, really?
He's district judge out here for years, and then he became the mayor, and we're gonna stay out of politics.
Yeah, fair enough, dude. There's enough of that going around already. I can't stand watching the news most of the time.
Oh no! And with this new, the COVID-19, and oh my goodness, it's like, it's just like there's so much stuff that's in the media, which it kind of sucks because nobody pays attention to social media before they'll pay attention to anything else.
Yeah, basically.
So social media it's kind of it's more. I think to me, it's more a hindrance in trying to get people to take the certain situation serious.
Yeah.
Like it just took for me to. I can't say I wasn't taking it seriously because I have a son that has respiratory issues.
Okay.
So he's just he's actually with his aunt right now, and that's where we're keeping him for the time being until we feel it's safe for him to be around people or come back home. Because like I was saying, when it comes to social media and stuff like that, a lot of people aren't really taking this serious. And like I said, it took for me to actually see somebody I used to work with. Like I said, I'm 32. She's 26, 27. And to see that she had it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Wow. I'm like, and then listening to the media, and this says everybody above 65 is the only people that get it. But then you really look, 41% of the people that are getting it between the ages of 18 and 50. And so it's like, what are they, like, why won't they just put the actual numbers out there so people could understand? Because it's the ones that are within mine of your age range that are kind of not all taking it serious. They're like, all right, well, it's okay for us we're in lockdown. We're going to lock in with our buddy over here. We're going to drink all night and party and all that stuff. But they're understanding. The one big thing that took me a long time I found it out like a couple of days ago about people that are asymptomatic and that have this, and that are able to actually get it and not show signs or symptoms. Okay. And that's what like blew me. It's I can't say, like, it made me more nervous than anything. I'm like, well, I can be around people and not know they have this. I'm like, that's like kind of weird, so that's what really made me, be more vigilant on, who I'm around. Like, I was like, I don't puke. Like, I literally, stay at, I ain't got to go to the store. I don't have to go to the store. I won't go. I just, as much as I want out the house, I try to, then I try to limit who comes to my house. But I have
for sure.
a teenage older daughter, and then I have a grown stepdaughter. So kind of hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, give me one second. I got to make sure something's working.
All right.
Okay, apparently it's working. I have this like new screen recording app to help me do because I'm using my phone and my iPad to do all this shit basically. Yeah, I thought it wasn't working, but it's working. But anyways,
Actually, that's what I use my phone to do all my all the comedy stuff I do and things like that. I do all of that from my phone.
I mean, might as well. I mean,
like,
I feel like my phone does better stuff than my laptop does. I haven't used my laptop once for any of this podcast stuff yet.
Yeah, and to me, it's way easier to download the apps for. Like, you get a lot more. I feel like I get a lot more on my phone, and I can use those resources on my phone than I can get on a computer.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can use my phone anywhere. You know, I want to make a video, and also I pop up the laptop, flip it open, like, hey, or get the camera and take it home.
Yeah, with the fucking heavy ass laptop trying to hold it.
Yeah. So, but yeah. That was, that's pretty much what, when it comes to the bail enforcement, me getting into that, that's how I started, and, the experience I've had, that. Now, security is a whole nother entity. I could be here for days talking about that. Like, 13 years of doing security, that's a lot.
And you say you've done that for nightclubs and shit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nightclubs, local bars, at work.
I'm sure the nightclub scene was interesting for sure.
Yeah, I've even done private security for a couple friends of mine. They had they had this little house party.
Oh, nice.
A kid from high school, and he asked me. This is back when I first started doing security. Maybe I was like a year or two in, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come do this party?" He's like, oh, sure, whatever. And I get there and I'm like, all I thought about was the money for the time being. I didn't think about the suburb we were in. The fact that everybody I was around were people that knew me from school, knew I was a class clown. They didn't know me in this aspect of work. So it was like, everybody kind of was like,
all serious now.
Like, I'm trying to do it. Yeah, I'm trying to do a job and be serious, and everybody's like, man, that's Antonio, man. Remember when he was out for high school and all of this stuff? I'm like, I'm not the mascot anymore. I'm security.
Yeah, right. You gotta take me seriously now. Come on, guys.
Here, bro, take the trunk. Give me your keys. Like, at least I'm smoking marijuana in this my bathroom. So, but when it comes, I think there was a one time I was actually doing security where it ended up being security and future recovery became one and the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
We were doing security, and then one of the guys looking for it actually happened to walk into the bar, and it was like, all right, so I'm going to do this.
Hell yeah, nice. That's like every future recovery agent's dream. It's just the dude just walks into the same building as you.
Mm-hmm. And there was also plenty of times where I was sitting there doing security, and I was like, this is a bar he frequents. Please don't come in here. Please don't come in here. Not tonight. There's 2 people here. I've had to kick out 3 people. I got a headache. Got this going on at home. I'm like, I don't even want to be here at work. And I think I'm going to deal with this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, I don't know what else would you like from me?
I actually have a story just like that one. We were working this case, and we just got done searching this dude's grandma's house for him. We couldn't find him, so we called it. We went to the local gas station, and we have all of our gear off. I have like my thigh holster on. I think I had 2 of my partners with me, and they were dressed down too, and they had a couple other things on. But we walked to the gas station, and there's a line. I'm standing outside, facing inside the gas station. My partner's in the line. There's like a few people ahead of him, and the guy we were looking for. There's a dude in front of my partner, 3 people up, that looks just like him. So I take my phone out, and I'm looking at my phone, looking at the dude in line. I'm kind of like doing this. I start looking at my partner. My partner's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you looking at? And I kind of like motion over towards that guy, and he starts looking at him. And we wait for the guy to walk out, and we start questioning him and shit. He's like, oh yeah, I'm not that guy, blah, blah, blah. And then I noticed, I noticed tattoos look like. So I saw tattoos on his arms. Like, hey, what's that tattoo say? He's like, oh, it's my girlfriend's name. Like, oh, yeah, so you're the guy we're looking for, so why don't you go ahead and turn around, buddy? Mm-hmm. And, yeah, it was him. So, yeah, the dude we're looking for was in this fucking gas station after we called the case quits. It was really chill after we handcuffed him, but...
That reminds me of a story. Oh my goodness. It was one of them cases where my another fugitive recovery agent friend that I know, he needed somebody to go with him and couldn't get a hold of nobody.
Yeah.
So he actually had to I think he needed somebody with a car because his car had broke down. My car my car broke at the time, so he ended up having to use his girlfriend's car. So we go all the way, like 45 minutes away. And we get out there, he shows me pictures of the guy's Facebook and all of that stuff. And so supposedly their CI that they had out there told him that they're right away. That's why he's so much in a hurry to get out. It's like, yo, bro, are you ready to go? Can you get suited up? Like, 5 minutes. I'm like, sure, whatever. So I forgot half of my stuff, moving so fast. The only thing I remember was handcuffs, and I think handcuffs, a taser, and pepper spray. I think that's about it. I didn't have handcuff key, nothing.
Nice.
So we shoot out there, and we get out there, and it was during the summer, so I have the vest on. It's 90 degrees in the car. There's no AC. I'm freaking irritated because I'm sweating for no reason. I didn't even do nothing yet. So we end up getting out there. Now, mind you, he had another agent that was supposed to be watching this house.
Yeah.
For some reason, he leaves. Now, the CI is calling us, we're calling him like, yo, they moved out. They left today. I told you need to be out here this time, yada, yada, yada. So we get out there. Now, there's two, it's like a trailer park. There's two trailers. The one looks completely vacant. There's a car parked in front of it. Now, I'm using my 2 cents, and I'm saying, like, you said that the neighbors and that person were good friends. They were like, yeah. I'm like, all right, well, maybe you should knock on this one. Matter of fact, no. Let's not knock on that one because we're all suited up. Let's send your girlfriend and have her go knock on this door over here.
Yeah.
So the girlfriend goes and knocks on this door, talks over the picture. She comes back. Now, mind you, she doesn't know how to be inconspicuous. So she comes back with the papers. She's like, oh, I'm like, yo, like, she's going to get us away. Like, she's definitely going to give us away. She gets in the car. She's all out. Like, yeah, they're here. I'm like, wow. She's like, well, that neighbor over there doesn't like neighbors over here. So she said, yeah, that motherfucker sitting over there right now. He's in the house. Now, mind you, we're still waiting for the other guy to get back. He pulls up maybe 5 minutes after we find out his house. So we're sitting there. We're already, but we didn't know how. Because we knew there was back door. She was no good. We couldn't use her. So it was 3 people.
Yeah.
We have multiple windows. We have, multiple ways to go. We don't know who else is in, those type of areas. You got people that are always like, oh, but that's my boy, what's going on type thing. So we're not knowing what we're going into. We know that he has his charge for fire or for assault firearm. We know that he was a user. So we don't know what type. If he is in there, what type of how he's going to be?
Yeah.
So we get up there. They knock on the front. I do walk around, and I see somebody playing Call of Duty.
Fuck yeah, nice.
So I get there. Oh, that's another thing. We didn't have radios, so no communication. So I get there and I'm looking. I get to the screen door. Mind you, I'm in the majority all white people. And you see this black guy just walk up to your window and look through your screen like this. So I seen somebody just dart out the room, but they were playing because they were playing Call of Duty. They were still online. They shot it, and I'm like, I left this room. So I go around to the next screen. I'm looking in, I peek in, and I'm like, oh shit. I looked again. And all I hear is like they're sitting there congregated. I guess it's the girlfriend. I don't know who the other girl was, a friend, and the fugitive. They're sitting there and they're just talking. And I'm like, so I just had to yell, I'm like, yo, we got him. He's right here. He's inside the house. He's right there. So I say, don't move. I put my taser on. I'm knocking the screen out. I put my taser on. I'm like, don't move.
Okay, like, nice.
Oh, I know. Looking for me. I'm just gonna go to the front door right now. He's coming to the front door. It's like, it was just one of those hairy situations. It's like, this thing could have went far left real quick. Like, I don't know. It was like, it was more calm. I guess I got time running. And it was like, they want to know how we knew that he was in there because they did move everything out of their house.
Yeah.
They supposedly, everybody thought they did leave. And it was like, oh, well, I guess you pissed your neighbors. a little while back, and she kicked right up, bro.
They don't piss off the neighbors, man.
Yeah, and then the girl like, yeah, it's always the neighbor. It's always the neighbor. The neighbor, she's just mind her business. And I'm like, hey, and then it just sucked up because after that, I talked with the guy on the way to the prison. I'm talking to him, and he had a stepson that looked up to him. You know what I mean? And he had a daughter, so they were all upset. It's like he had his girlfriend. He had a family that cared. And it's just he just decided not to go to court.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, bro, just go get this taken care of. And it's like, how much time are you looking at? I'm not looking at no time, 6 months. I'm like, bro, it's a vacation. I wish I could get some months. So it's like, yeah. So, that was one of the instances where, I did, talk about, look, for all the people that care about you, you have a stepson that that his father has something to do with, and he pulled his eyes out of you. You know what I mean? He follows in your shoes. I mean, he wants to be, he look up to you. Do what you do. Come home and take care of that. Take care of them. And I don't know what the outcome was, happened with them after the fact. As a matter of fact, that's one of the cases I did with that bail bonds actually paid us for, and I still haven't got paid for it yet.
That sucks.
So you know what I mean. So I checked in with the agent I worked with and stuff like that, but he said for the most part, I think he did get bailed back out. He did get bailed back out because they actually had postponed his court date and all that. So kind of worked out the fact that we found him and got him over the courts. Just sucks sometimes the circumstance because you really don't know. Like he was, like I said, he was sitting there playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
On Xbox, like it was nothing. Like he had a care in the world. Like, bro, you're on the run, and it's just what you guys do. Okay.
That's how a lot of them act. Like, there's times we arrest people and they act like they never had a warrant out for the arrest and they're just chilling. Like, we have a guy right now. Every time I check his Facebook, he's out just doing his own thing. He's out hanging out with friends, not a care in the world. And that's how a lot of them act. I guess fuck it. I mean, if you know you're going to go to jail, why not go out and have fun still, I guess? I mean...
Well, that's how I catch a lot of, because I stay on social media, so that's how I catch a lot of them. And I'm good at point places and buildings, and being in the area, living in the area so long is like, all right, they can take a picture of somebody's house, and I'll see it 2 hours later.
Yep.
And we think the person's a whole couple hours away. I'm like, yo, he's 15 minutes down the road. He's in that area. Like, he was just there 2 hours ago, so let's just do a drive, smack out the price outside. That's usually how I end up catching a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, they're on social media. They're like, I go on the run. I'm not posting on social media. I'm not going to show up. It's my birthday and I'm in the club popping bottles because you're giving your location out.
Yeah, exactly. People put a lot of shit on social media. I mean, I do too, but I'm kind of careful about what I put on there. But I also don't have warrants for my arrest. Yeah. But, yeah, some of these fugitives, they just don't pay attention.
And that's how I think about it. I was like, if I ever were going to run outside, I said I wouldn't be able to because I can't post on social media, can't make videos, I can't see my kids, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I'm like, no, I would never run out, but I don't want to be on the run.
Yeah, exactly. No, we had a case like that one you just talked about where the guy had assault charges. Those are always the sketchiest ones for me, especially when the charges have something to do with the weapon. We're always a little more aggressive with those guys. Most of the time, we're pretty chill. We treat people with respect, and we roll up on them with a pretty soft approach. But with those guys, we don't fuck around. I mean, I'm sure you guys wear plate carriers, too. We wear them. I've never used a taser in this job. I just don't have one. I need to get one, though. But we were... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. I think using a taser, I've used the taser more time doing security than I did doing bail enforcement.
Oh, really? Crazy ass drunk people?
I've used pepper spray and the taser more time doing security than I did doing fugitive recovery.
I mean, I've had plenty of opportunities to use a taser doing fugitive recovery, and sometimes I wish I had one. But most of the time, when we come up on someone, we're already right in front of them, so we just grab them right away. If we think they're going to be a fight, we just grab them and take them down right away. So usually we're pretty close to do that. We arrested this one big black guy, and we found out he has a weapon on him, and he did when we arrested him. He had some whack-ass long .22 revolver like 22 caliber revolver in his front waist and a knife. I was the first one to approach him. He was calm, but he started reaching towards his waist like that. And I knew he had something there, so I grabbed his arms, and my buddy came right behind me. We took him down. And yeah, we pulled out the fucking revolver from his waist. We took out a fucking long-ass red knife from his waistband. And then when we were escorting him back to the vehicle, my partner could feel him reaching for his gun that he had on his own waist. So, yeah. People do all kinds of crazy shit, and yeah, we don't fuck around if we hear about someone might have a weapon on them, they have assault charges.
Those are I could say those are the hairy situations. It's like you don't know, and then especially when you're doing when you're searching houses. See, out there, if I'm not mistaken, I think in Colorado, you guys can kick the door in, correct? Like you can if you go to a residence, you can go right in, or you have to have some probable cause to go in.
There's some new laws coming through. Typically you shouldn't do it unless you know for a fact your person is in there. And we never do it unless it's the co-signer's house and we call and get permission, or we get permission from the homeowner if they're on the site. We even call in local PD. They're usually there to back us up as well. So we've kicked in a lot of doors for sure, but again, we never do it unless we know for a fact our guy's in there. And we get permission from whoever the property owner is. We've done it for hotels. The hotel people will tell us, yeah, do what you gotta do. They've even given us keys for the doors to go in. But they're starting to get a little more strict on that stuff. And I guess there's been a couple agents up in Denver area or Jefferson County that are getting prosecuted for this shit. But it's more of a last resort thing.
Yeah, I know out here, the only time we can actually enter a premises without permission is if we get a positive ID on the fugitive, which is, almost hard. Like if they got curtains up, you're not going to get a positive ID. So there's many times where I say, like, it's been hairy situations where we'll knock on the door and someone will say, hey, you can come in. And it's like, all right, we're going in and we're short man. And we're going into this house and we have no clue we're walking into. Like, they could be sizing us up, like, all right, well, look, this one, we'll let them come in and then we won't let them leave, type thing. You never know what you're walking into. You walk into the hills of eye, future recovery. Like, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
And I know there was it just reminded me of a hotel apprehension we had. Where the guy, the family had got displaced because I guess they had a fire. So the Red Cross actually put him up at the hotel. And we went there, and there was supposed to be a positive ID that he was in the hotel with the family.
Okay.
So I don't know. We actually had, the front desk called up to verify IDs of who all was in the room, because he actually had to give his ID when he went into the hotel. And so, for verification purposes, the front desk attendant told us that he's in that room. So we go up the stairs. Like, we take, I think my brother took the elevator. The one agent took the stairs on the one side, the stairs on the other side. So we get upstairs on the floor that we're on, and all of a sudden there's this guy walking down. This guy that's walking towards me with a hood on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, he really looks like this guy, but he's so skinny. I'm like, he used drugs. I'm like, he's so small.
Yeah.
But it was like the way he walked. I'm like, it just brought my antennas was just going up. It's like, nah. I'm like, so I go, what the heck was his name? Jerry James. Anyways, I say his name like Jerry. So, if somebody mentions your name, it's really kind of hard unless you're 100% on. Like, I'm not going to answer to my name.
Yeah.
You're not going to flinch nothing. I say the name, and he's just like one of these. And I'm like, come here, buddy. At the same time, my other guy was coming up, big guy. It's like 6'4", big guy, one big white guy comes out the door, and he's like, oh, you guys got me. I wasn't going to run. I was going to sit there. Bro, you walked past the elevator. You were going down the stairwell.
Yeah, right.
But the whole reason he ended up, not in the court was because the fires situation, getting to this with his family.
Yeah.
There's good time. It was his first baby, you know what I mean? So it's like everybody has their reasons. It just sucks that, you kind of get put in as a middleman where you almost look like the bad guy. And it's like, we talk to him too, get off the drugs, and, do what you need to do to take care of your family. You got a baby on the way. How's you going to take care of a baby when you're in jail?
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, it always sucks when kids are involved. I mean, I've arrested people and their kids are right there watching it. I mean, I do my best to get the kids away from that and they don't see it, but sometimes you can't help it. Especially when you have to, like, throw their parent, or if their parents, like, hardcore resisting. Because I had one lady, she was only, like, 90 pounds, like, 5'4". The scrappiest fucking person I had to deal with. And she was definitely, we found her in the attic. We got her out of the attic, and she was really cool at first. She was wanting to get shoes on and shit. I'm like, yeah, cool. I remember what happened after that, but all of a sudden she wouldn't cooperate. We got her out to the car, and she starts fighting with us and shit, so we put her on the ground and was like trying to get her to calm down before we did anything else with her. And then her fucking boyfriend's coming up behind us like, take your fucking badge off. I'll fight you. Take your badge off. So now we gotta deal with him. And her kids are in the garage just fucking bawling and watching us. We pick her up. We throw her in the truck. And she spins around on her butt. And she kicks me right in the fucking jaw. Like as hard as she could. And I was like trying everything I could to stay calm. If you fucking do that again, I'm gonna OC spray the fuck out of you. And then she just kept on fighting and fighting and fighting. And then I had to go somewhere else after that. But I guess on the way to the jail, my boss said she actually slipped her cuffs, jumped out of the truck. So him and the other guy had to go, get her back in cuffs again and bring her to jail. So I've had big motherfuckers in cuffs, and they didn't fight that much.
Well, shit, I remember when you talk about kids getting involved, I remember there was a situation at the hotel where I told you I ended up picking up my cousin's baby dad. Well, he had his because it was a hotel room.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't nowhere to go with the kids. You had the girlfriend at the time, or I don't know if that was the other baby mom, and then the two younger girls. And it's like they're struggling with him. He's like at the back door. One of the agents had a gun out, which he tried to reach for. That's why he ended up getting bopped in the head. And then, but you have the little kids that are running up behind the agents trying to pull on the pull. I'm like, this, and it's like those are real hairy situations because it's like you're trying, all you see is the kids, and it's the first thing you how to keep the kids safe. But then the kid's mom's not doing anything to help. She's yelling and screaming, so they're feeding off her energy, and then you got these two little kids that it's like, what do you do? What do you do with them? So.
So I found one guy. He had a 15-year-old daughter. He was making her hide with her in this fucking abandoned shed. We end up having to force the door open, and we find her first, and he's hiding under the blankets with her, and it's like they're just hiding on these blankets in this dark ass cold shed together. It's like, how are you gonna make your kids hide with you? And you got agents that have been outside your little shed for 3 hours calling you out.
That's.
I know she's 15 years old, but even at that age, that kind of shit can do something with your head. Thankfully, it didn't turn violent, but still, seeing your parents getting taken away in cuffs like that.
Yeah, I can say I've never actually witnessed firsthand any one of my parents get taken away in cuffs, but I know I can say that I've seen my siblings' fathers all get taken away, Well, it's 1, 2, at least 3 of them get taken away in cuffs.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy shit.
I swore up and down I would never be the one in cuffs, but, it happens, But I like I said, I like them, though. That's one thing I learned. Maybe who I am today. I used to sit there at times and say, I wish I could, I would take back, I would take back those experiences, but I wouldn't, because I wouldn't be who I am now if I wouldn't have had those experiences. I wouldn't have been able to I wouldn't have been able to do what I've done. And that's people I've met. So,
yeah, I get that for sure. Like I said, the fact that we both seen, both sides of the law like that, I feel like that makes us better agents than most. So.
Yeah, that's why at the end of the day, I like working with kids. My thing is I consider myself a youth activist. I call myself, Funnitoni, comedian for the youth. I do a lot of improv. Like I don't do skits or nothing like that, but I do a lot of stuff on the go.
Nice.
But like for example, this April is Child Abuse Awareness Month. You actually got me on camera before I dyed my hair blue.
All right, on your dye blue, huh?
So, yeah, because I'm gonna dye my hair blue, and just for awareness purposes, because unfortunately I did lose my nephew when he was 14 years old.
Oh shit! Sorry about that.
He's like, I can honestly say, like, when I go through my stints where I was like, all right, I'm not getting where I want to get. Things are going south for me real fast. It's like, I'm about to give up on this whole thing, but it's like, I have a lot of fans. I have plenty of fans. I have plenty of people that appreciate what I do. And for me to give up and say that I'm not going to do this anymore, it would be like me just giving up. And that's one thing I can't do for on my nephew's sake. I miss him a lot. He should have been turning 18 this year.
Yeah.
And he has a twin sister. But he's my big reasoning for wanting to push the knowledge of what I've seen and what I've been through out here to the youth, to make them understand that, all right, I've been on both sides of the fence. And I was even in trouble as a juvenile. But I don't want to hear you say I can't do this, or they say I can't do this, so I'm not going to do it, or I'm going to. This is the only thing I know. That's not the case. I have plenty of stories where I can go from much different instances where I have been at A, B, and C, and I said, well, I'm not doing B and I'm not doing E, but I've done it, and I can look back at A, B, and C and be like, look, well, back then I didn't think I was get here, and now look, like I never would have thought in a million years, after doing security as long as I did, that it would take me 13 years to get to a position where I'd be, even though it was only for a short period of time, that I ever would work with a tier 1 recording artist, a platinum recording artist. And I work with him personally and be around him all the time, and be able to as a fact we're on a perfect level. I never would have thought back when I was 18 years old, back when I was 14 years old, that I would ever be in a position like that. After going to jail and being in trouble, I never would have thought that. But because I kept a good head on my shoulders, I ran some bumps in the roads, but I kept telling myself that I'm going to make it. I'm going to do this. I can make it. I can be better. And,
exactly.
Just having that job, I've made plenty of contacts, met plenty of people where the sky's the limit. And it's just, the whole thing was never giving up.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it really is having the drive and the determination to keep up with that. And you can lose hope, but don't give up at the same time. I think that's what the main problem is with people, is they lose hope and then that's it. They just can't get that drive back for whatever reason.
Yeah, there was a couple times I did. I can admit that, and I can say there's a couple times that I actually said, F this, I don't care anymore. This is not what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I had a situation that happened with Dad, where I pretty much out of my control. That happened with my 2 youngest daughters. And at that point in time, I had 2 years. I said, you know what? I had drive to do anything, and I pretty much gave up. But if it wasn't for the woman that I had in my life at that time and dealt with my bullshit for 2 years, that kept pushing me, I wouldn't have gotten to where I was at.
Yeah.
Or where I'm at now. So.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely a good podcast. It's already been an hour. Holy shit, that went kind of fast too.
Look, I'm trying to think what other stories I can bring out.
We can always do another podcast too, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just this time I write it down so I don't shoot hit so much. But I like the improv stuff because it's like I can go every which way with it, because that's what I call myself, the improv king. Like I go everything. Like I said, when it comes to the time that I'm able to be on a broad platform. The stories that I have to tell, like for example, this hour I just gave to you was just so minute to what I've been through, and then just get in the security field and the fugitive recovery field. I never talked about my youth.
Yeah.
So it's like that's why I don't have an opportunity to do this. I was able to touch and hopefully maybe somebody out there see this on YouTube and be like, damn. well, shoot, I still got some time. I can change some things around and, do some things.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely good if we can change someone's life. Like I said, I'm definitely willing to do another podcast. I'm trying to keep this going for sure and get on as many people as I can and redo people also, especially if they got more good stories to tell. So.
For sure, I'll definitely do another one. Maybe next time we do it. I know I have my. I'm actually surprised a couple of years ago while I was doing this. I'm actually surprised I came to the living room while I was doing this. Not even my grandson. Yeah, maybe next time. Maybe do it. We gotta do it outside. Around the campfire.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, if all this quarantine shit is over, I plan on actually doing people in person, which would be nice. To be better quality video and audio. But gotta do what we can do.
Well, I might. That might be a possibility for me once this is all said and done and over with, because one of the major concerts that we had for one of the artists that I was working for, I had cancer, and I was working for Florida. I know there. And look, speaking of the devil, she just came down there. As I'm supposed to be making my way out west. I'm supposed to make my way out west to meet up with some people, for Funnitoni. So,
fuck yeah, man, cool.
Maybe I might make it in the state, and we can actually definitely do a session face to face. That'd be very cool.
Hell yeah, dude. That'd be awesome for sure. All right, man. Well, I'll let you get to your daughter, because I guess she just came in the room.
Yeah. She's sitting there giving me this look like, Daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy.
All right, man. Well, that was good shit for sure. I appreciate you coming on.
All right, thanks, bro.
Yeah, I'll take it easy, man.